All right, everybody. Today we are going to actually talk a little bit more about the real estate market, where we're going, and really what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. So, first of all, want to make sure everybody hit the subscribe button. This way, you get these market updates in real time. And to be clear, I know that there's been a lot of information that is given, and it is on a nationwide level as far as what we're doing. We're only working with a very isolated, our community, our specific city and county, our state, Northwest MLS. So basically from Bellingham down to the Tri-Cities over into Wenatchee and Leavenworth, again, because that's what's important to us. It really doesn't matter what's happening in Florida or Colorado or California. It just matters what our economy is doing here. How are we doing? And yes, we are one of the top 5 sweet spots still. And so with that, let's go ahead. We've got a couple of shout outs first. So for Eric and Susan, thank you for the opportunity to meet with you guys yesterday. It was absolutely awesome sauce. Eric, loved the fact that you love numbers, and I've got some more good ones for you so that you can start taking a look at some really good metrics as you consider selling your home. So, June, how did June do? So last week, we saw some pretty good numbers. And again, month over month, our numbers keep improving, keep improving. Year over year, we're just lagging a tad bit. But again, last year we didn't have Corona, which is really funny. And in fact, it's really funny. Somebody said, George, holy smokes, dude, you only talk about year over year, month over month. But what happened like 3 years ago? What happened 5 years ago? I said, hey, that's a great question. So I printed off a 5 year, and Marie will go ahead and post that. But as you can see, right, our waves are very much consistent. There's nothing crazy out there at all. You don't see our current year like way down here, and you don't see the other ones like way up here. You see the light green are all of the active listings. The dark green is where the tire hit the pavement. Those are the homes that sold. And as you can see, that's our normal cycle. There's nothing crazy out there. In fact, one of the funniest things is that Connie Galindo, hope I got that right, she asked a couple of questions. She says, George, how big is the market right now? Well, I think she actually meant how much inventory is in the market, not how big, because, Bellingham all the way down to the Tri-Cities and whatnot. I don't think that is what she meant. To answer Connie's question, let's go ahead and delve into our numbers. So month over month, actually, for the first time, well, not the first time, but one in actually the last 2 months, I believe it is, we actually have more inventory, more month over month. Okay, well, that's good because why? We're still seeing a ton of homes coming on market every single month, which is consistent. That is normal. What's really interesting, our pendants are up 24.6% month over month, but we are still 45% over month the number of actual sales, the number of homes that a buyer and a seller said yes to and they closed. Now, when we take a look at year over year, okay, January to June 2019, 2020, we're only down 12.5%. Last week, we were at 12.4. On the number of pended, our number of pended sales are only down 7.3%. Last week, we were 8.2% under what we were year over year. That's a small number. We're only talking about a few hundred homes. That's it. Not a big deal. And you say, okay, well, George, how is that not a big deal? Okay, well, hang on a second. So in the last 24 hours, and again, Marie will go ahead and post these, you can see this is the number of actives. Now, today is Saturday. We always do this on Saturday. And Friday is always a big, hey, let's go on market day. So as you can see, we had 439 active listings go up yesterday. We had 346 pended and sold was 350. Well, those are pretty good numbers. And you say, oh, gosh, George, that's great. That's the last 24 hours. Well, let me give you a little perspective. Now, there's some naysayers still out there saying, oh, our market, it's bad. And I disagree with that, because now let's take a look at the entire week. So if we look at the entire week, we had 1,486 new homes come on market, 7 days. That's all. But here's the thing. We had 2,312 pended homes. Well, what's interesting is when you take a look at this right here, that's a pretty healthy number. Then when we come down to the solds, 1,360. So you can see how these numbers keep drawing down this number right here, because we have more homes that are going off market than we have homes coming on market. How much? Almost 2x. Not quite, but almost. So if we have almost twice as many homes going off market as we have homes coming on market, to answer Connie's question, our inventory is dwindling. We were so at the end of May, we were like, I want to say it was like 8 months. No, it was 1.8 months of inventory. We're going to be actually closer down to about 1.6 months of inventory. You might say, George, what the heck does that mean? All right. So if we have a big bucket, right? And we're going to call this bucket the Northwest MLS. Okay. So all of the real estate agents put their listings in this bucket. Okay. Now, if I put a lid on it and I don't put any more in, and we just sell the inventory that's in here, okay, a healthy market is said to have 4 to 6 months of inventory in this bucket that we draw off of before we basically hit zero. That is a healthy, balanced market. Now, we're at 1.8 at the end of last month. We're probably going to be about 1.6 at the end of this month, just because of the volume of homes that are coming off. Now, understand, since 2017, only a couple of times have we bumped over the 2 months of inventory. And that was towards the end of 2018, part of 2019. And then, of course, towards the end of probably about, I would say, March of 2019, that's when we dropped back down below that 2 months of inventory again. Okay, so if our inventory keeps dropping, the number of homes, albeit are on an uptick, that still shows that we have an incredibly healthy market, which also clearly indicates it is a seller's market. Buyers are struggling to find enough homes to take a look at, because again, we're back to that 2017 market where we are seeing a lot of multiple offers. So again, you have to be geared up. You must be as financially solid as you can and make sure that you start that process early. Don't loan hop. Any of the real estate brokers out there that you know are going to say, don't loan hop. Pick your person and then move forward with it. Why? Because you are going to be having to give up some concessions. I'm saying you'll have to, because you need to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward. And sadly enough, that does mean some concessions. Does that mean that I think, yes, everybody should give up concessions? No. And in fact, I hate it. And the other agents hate it. Why? Because it doesn't protect you. So there are other things that we have to do, other safeguards we have to put in place to make sure you are protected, whether it's a pre-inspection, setting up a time and having a contractor go through, and make sure that it's not last minute, because it requires scheduled time. Make sure that nothing is last minute. Make sure you get your financing done. Financing rates today really haven't changed. 3.125, 3.325, 4.125 for non-owner occupied, no points. There's a lot of great things. Look at the video last week. Points or no points. Look at what some of the pros and the cons are depending on what you want to do. All right. Last week, we also did a will interest rates hit zero, which is a no. For those of you that think, oh, they're going to get to zero. Nothing is ever free. Guaranteed, nothing is ever free. All right. So as we take a look at our market, what we're doing, yes, our market is still very, very strong. Now, we're heading into the 4th of July holiday weekend coming up. There has been a little bit of a slowdown. I think people are making what we would consider traditional plans and whatnot. I've heard a number of folks that are heading out doing different things safely. But with that, we are going to see a little bit of a slowing trend until after July 4th, which shockingly enough is so common. Traditionally, the week after the July 4th, and typically from June 1 to the end of, the starting after July 4th, so that June to July 4th timeline has always been slow. Okay, not this year. Kids are already out of school. And then after that, we pick up until, well, the end of August. Why? Because kids go back to school. You might say, well, George, not all families have kids. I understand that, but the chart clearly shows when our level of activity. And then at the October 1-ish, it picks back up again until mid-December. Okay, well, it is always our trend, and if that is our trend, we'll just continue to monitor that this year, and again, week by week, so you get the numbers in real time. All right, so had another question. They said, our choice is big or small for buyers? Well, our inventory is being drawn down every single week. We are backfilling with listings, but not fast enough, okay? So if you've ever been at the beach and you've been digging a hole, right? You can dig that hole faster than the water fills back into it. That is a good analogy, okay? If it were the inverse of that, if we had so much volume, you could be digging the hole and digging the hole and digging the hole, and water would keep coming in faster than you could actually dig that hole. All right, it is the same concept. Right now, that hole is not filling anywhere near as fast. We are digging faster than it is backfilling. Okay, that answers that one. Another question here. How quick are the rates fluctuating in a pandemic situation that we are in? That's a really good question. All right, kind of with that the loan hopping, okay, that you do not do. Look, guys, pick one and run with it, right? Interest rates fluctuate every day, every hour, morning, noon, afternoon. You could be quoted a rate in the morning, and by that afternoon have a completely different rate. So understand, it's like the stock market. Stock market does this, not quite as much, with loans. They're a little bit softer. Now, there was a time in April, where it was crazy. It was, like massive swings. But we're not seeing that. We're back to the normal, just kind of the little wave. But understand, interest rates are based on your credit score, which is based on risk. So make sure that you are just dialing in. If there's any one small credit item you can fix, which will help your rate get your credit score up to a threshold, which will help you save hundreds of dollars every single month, thousands of dollars a year, tens of thousands of dollars over the life of a mortgage. Understand, those are things that you really want to pay attention to. And again, don't loan hop. All right, so with that, if you have any questions about this, we will be posting this information. Our market is still doing incredibly well. Don't freak out if you see a little bit of a slowing trend over the next week and a half with the 4th of July weekend. Everybody, please be safe out there. If you have any other questions, reach out to us, post them up. Thank you, Connie, for posting that one. And the other folks, thank you very much. Linda, Bagley, I hope that you're healing up. Big hugs and kisses to you. I know that I had a hip replacement, and I hope you're doing awesome. And a big virtual hug for you. In the meantime, you guys have a beautiful day, and I will see you guys on the next video.